That is hardcore.
This is hardcore shit.
But for me, it gets harder and harder to resist.
Welcome back to Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte. Hey, Brigitte, we got a special guest tonight?
Yes, we've got Michael T. Flynn.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Michael.
Hello.
All right. Well, so it's been a little while since we've done a podcast, so let's get to talking about a few little things here. Mike, what do you got? Any projects on the horizon? Anything you're doing right now? Anything you got going on?
I just spat out a bunch of little 1 minute micro shorts.
1 minute micro shorts. What made you do this? What's the impetus?
In Nashville, there is a tiny little film festival that happens about once every month and a half, and they give you a theme, and you just go in and make whatever you want, screen it for the audience, and it's a big good time. So I did creepy thing about a haunted poppers bottle. Got a bunch of gals together in a blown up pool and made Bachelorette Pool Party Massacre.
Oh, yeah, that looked fun.
Yeah.
That looked like it was fun.
It was so fun. And then my last one, I did, my crazy drag character was obsessed with eggs, and I actually got scratch and sniff cards to pass out to the audience.
That is so funny.
Everyone was disgusted. They all left them on the floor. They were like, nah. So.
Did you get my John Waters reference? I had commented on, you had posted something on social media, and I was like, hey, surely he's going to get my John Waters reference, because it's like, oh, Mr. Eggman.
Oh, yeah. In the credits, I dedicated it to Edith Massey, the original egg lady.
Haha, love it. That is so awesome.
Funny.
So
Awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what's going on now. I'm just taking a break, starting to write an anthology, and hopefully gearing up for that in the next year.
Cool.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Sweet. All right, let's talk about a few little things. Bridget, I know you don't follow this franchise that much, but Scream, in the headlines in the news recently, for their lead character got dropped. You guys know about this at all?
Mm-hmm.
Lead character got dropped, and then another one exited after that. Are you familiar with this, Bridget, at all?
No.
Yeah. Well, so the lead so Neve Campbell was always the lead in all the Screams until they rebooted it with Scream 5, and now this Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega was kind of the leads. And so I guess Melissa had posted some things on her social media and about the war and the Palestine stuff. And apparently Spyglass was not too happy with it, and they just fired her. And then Jenna left after that. I've heard different reasons. There's been like 3. But anyway, they're both gone from the franchise. I just want to get your thoughts on that. What do you think about people losing roles because of their opinions?
I'm sitting here going, what?
Yeah.
It was so bad. Was it political?
It was political, yes.
Okay,
yes, it was political.
There's that line. I never, ever try to talk politics because,
right.
Man, people will get crazy when it comes to politics, and that I hate that for her. I don't know what she's posting about.
Yeah. I mean, she's not the first. I mean, it's been politically on both sides and all this stuff, but it is a weird sort of culture now where you can't really sort of, you have to be really careful about what you say, or you will lose your job. And these, it's as a celebrity, and I can only imagine where it's like, well, you have a platform, sure, but you also want to be your own self and voice your own opinions and not suppress things. So that would have to be hard.
That's got to be pretty stressful. I would think.
Mike, anything?
Yeah, it's just such a fine line we have to walk these days between, if you have any type of public persona, it's like your opinion has to be very subdued, very quiet, and if you're loud, everything's put on the table. Everyone's so ready to come with a hatchet and chop you off. So
Right, right. And all this did was really put a spotlight on it because I mean, I didn't even know she had said anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I mean, this all this is blew it up to this crazy amount of extremes, and I feel sorry for the new director of Scream 7 because he's left with all this turmoil of what to make now because they had this sort of storyline going with the new characters, and now I don't know what's going to happen with it. But I'm sure a 7 will be made. It just probably won't involve. It may not involve any of those characters that survived part 6. But
They have no excuse to not pay Nev Campbell what she deserves now.
right, and but who knows? Like it's tainted at this point. So you know, who knows if she would even touch it? You know, it's like it's one of those things where you've put again a spotlight on it so much that it definitely gotten a lot of negativity from both sides. But surely, like most people agree that you know you really shouldn't just lose your job over a post or something. You know, because like that's rough.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think they should just put it to for a minute and.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, look, James Gunn got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you know, for a little while, but that turned out okay.
Right? It's like he's head of DC now, so he don't care.
He doesn't care, right? But they had enough sense to bring him back, you know, to bring him back into the movie and let him direct part 3. And but we'll see what happens. It may blow over, and then they may come to their senses. But then again, you know, those kind of things are very touchy. I don't know, obviously, what all was said, but yeah, it's definitely something that you have to be really careful anymore. So crazy times. Moving on. So we're in December now. So we have all kinds of Christmas stuff going on. We have some Christmas. We talked about Christmas movies last year, Bridget.
We did. Mm-hmm.
And we talked about. I think you said your favorite one was Inside or something. Was that right? Am I right?
Well,
about that?
that's one of my favorite. Probably Black Christmas, the original.
Black Christmas.
Yeah, the original is my favorite, but probably
Right.
my second favorite, I think.
Right. Well, I mean, as a movie, I like Inside's probably my favorite of these, but I like. It's on Christmas, but it's not to me. It's not it's not
really
it's the same thing. It's like Die Hard.
Yeah, it's during Christmas, but yeah. So Black Christmas
Right.
Definitely and that's one of my favorite movies anyway. So
yeah. Well, I love Black Christmas, the original. Everybody, not the new one, or even the second one's decent. But anyway, what about you, Mike? What do you got? What's your Christmas go-to movies with horror?
My Christmas go-to is actually it is the first remake of Black Christmas.
Okay, so yeah, it's okay. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Right. I remember my mom took me out of school early to go see it in the movie theater. And I had my little Fangoria magazine with me, and I was reading the article over and over. Finally got to see it, and it just blew my mind. It grossed me out. And yeah, every year I just have to watch that Christmas cookie scene.
Your mom is cooler than the other side of the pillow. I'm just saying.
I know. She dragged me out of the house to go see Thanksgiving this year.
Good. That's awesome. We'll talk about if that's a new watch. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good Christmas movies that are horror based. You know, I think Rare Exports is one I always mention. I think that one's a really good one. There's quite a few. I mean, if you like those, what's those Silent Night, Deadly Nights? I mean, they're not hit or miss, and some of those aren't even Christmas movies if you get down into 4 and 5 and stuff. But I mean, they're pretty decent, you know. And there's was it Christmas Evil? Do you remember that one back in the day?
Is it about a killer Santa?
I mean, it is a guy who kills, and sort of, but it's a little bit less like slashery, but it's a decent little one. I mean, there's quite a few.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. Mm-hmm. But it seems like there's more coming out all the time. There was one last year that came out, Bloody Christmas. What was it? Bloody Christmas, Bloody or something like that. There's one with the Santa as a robot in like a mall or something. And he just like kind of goes crazy and starts killing people.
I've been seeing ads for this a lot.
It's actually pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent.
What's it called?
I think it's called Bloody Christmas, Bloody or something like that.
Okay.
It's something. It's not Christmas Bloody. It might be Christmas Bloody Christmas.
It's Bloody Christmas.
It's Christmas Bloody Christmas?
Yep.
Okay, Christmas Bloody Christmas. Okay, cool. So yeah, about the robot Santa. Pretty cool, pretty decent little movie. But yeah, there's all kinds of ones coming out. All right. Before we get to our list, let's talk a little bit about a little movie that we did called Clowning.
Clowning.
So
we love to clown around, don't we?
Hong Kong.
So the genesis is, we talked a little bit about the genesis of this, about, just kind of merging sort of ideals of Brigitte and I's kind of a thing. And this happened, a couple of years ago?
No, not even a couple of years ago. The first time we had that conversation, we were at CreepyCon last year. So
right, so
a little over a year.
Little over a year. So yeah, a little over a year. And then sort of just went from there. And then I wrote like a sort of a treatment. I wrote a script, but it's not a fully fleshed script, but it's a script nonetheless. And then before we was going to do anything like that, I wanted to kind of just see what it would feel like. And it's like, well, let's just do a little teaser kind of a thing and see where that would go. And so we did. Now, what do you want to talk about with it, Bridget?
So we go to Grindhouse Video. So we did that, and it's fun. Oh my God, I had so much fun. I bought like 12 movies. And then I think we got to your house around like 3:00 ish, and it was kind of crazy. Like it would rain a little bit on and off. It was really, really hot. So the majority of it was filmed in a garage. No, we didn't have fans on. No fans, no air conditioners. So between sets, I remember taking paper towels and just black. And it turned out the sweat ended up turning out really good, because later on at the very, very tail end, I looked super messy and my makeup's all smeared and it just looks hella creepy. So maybe the heat turned out good. And I want to give kudos to Michael, because oh my gosh, you were the perfect person for this role. So Michael plays the guy. I play the clown girl, and you had us laughing. I couldn't stop laughing at you. Your one-liners are my favorite. And
Great.
It's called Klownin with a K. You can check it out under Faux Pas Film.
Yeah, Faux Pas Films 1 is where it is. So Mike, how did you get involved in this project?
Known Brigitte for a long time, and one day she dropped me a line and said, "Hey, we have this idea, and think you would be really fun for this." And then a few months later, it was, "Are you available next weekend? We're gonna go out and shoot this thing." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Yeah. And she's like, "Also, it's gonna be very bloody, and it's a sex scene, and do all this stuff." And I was like, "Okay, let's roll."
Yeah.
All right.
You were so perfect for it. It could have gotten uncomfortable, but we're really very professional, and which made it that much more easier, I think. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, never an uncomfortable moment except when I pulled whatever I pulled in my neck. But other than that, totally great. Just very sweaty, very bloody, and probably
was that on the clown bed?
Yeah. It was when we were rehearsing, I laid down and I did something to my neck, so the entire night I actually had like something going on where I couldn't turn my head.
So,
I didn't even know that. Like, you pulled that off pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be drunk dude, bro, that just is clown, you know?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, guys, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, holy shit, acting is not glamorous. I was so fucking sore the next day. I had like bruises all over my legs. I think when we were sitting on that little clown bed, like the heels of my boots kept digging into the side of my legs. It was great.
Right, and then your heels kept digging into my joints.
Yeah, I believe it. And what about the fake blood? Do you remember the fake blood when it was time to like, hey, we're wrapping up, it's time to get the fake blood off? I couldn't get it off for nothing.
I bathed in lemon juice, and this was so funny. I just posted a picture of it, and everyone thought it was a thirst trap. So everyone for me in my messages when I did that.
Oh wow.
No, it's fine. Don't. No, taken.
It is so funny. I think I down with baking soda toothpaste. I think it would come off pretty easy with that. And I don't know how I found that. I just Googled it or something. And Riff, Robert Cox, we call him Riff, he did special effects and he was like, well, I just used some Dawn on it. Come right off. It was fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Oh my God.
Right.
I peeled a layer of skin off just trying to get it off.
Harry ain't got nothing on us.
Yeah.
Right.
Certain blood stains more than others. And also, obviously, the amount of time you leave it on is going to affect it as well. But yeah, it's kind of just trial and error to see what you can get off, what you can use to get it off, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's those fun little facts about, you're watching a movie. You don't ever think about, well, most people don't think about like all the efforts that go into the making of a film.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It turned out pretty decent. I think, just considering the fact we didn't really have a script. I mean, I knew what we were going from point A to point B to point C, but we didn't have like all this really mapped out and everything. So to have it done in one day and completed and everything was pretty good accomplishment, and Mike with his ad-libbing and you with your terror when necessary. I think it worked out pretty decent.
I think so too. It was a struggle in the beginning when he's talking, he's trying to cut the clown off, and Michael would look at me and he'd be like, I am so sorry I keep cutting you off. I'm like, no, that's what you're supposed to do. It's fine. But that was a little difficult for us, but we made it through it.
Yeah. And you would be surprised how many titles with clown are made into movies already. Because I was going to call it Klownin, I think, just CLOWNING. Well, you can't do that. That's not. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just take the G off. Ha ha. Nope, that was taken. I thought, all right, well, I'll just change the K. KLONING. Nope, that was taken.
Oh, I think without the G and with the K is perfect. I thought it was different. I loved it.
Well, it works, but kind of a had to situation.
Yeah.
Puts us in the realm of like killer clowns from outer space.
Right. Yeah, which is a good place to be. I know that's a good category, but that's really the reason why it was like that, because I mean, I'll think of a title so many times and I'll be like, because I don't like to use titles that are already used unless it's just strictly necessary to the story. And I've done it a couple times, but like I'll think of something or I'll see a word or a phrase and I'm like, oh, that would be a good movie title. I'll look it up and I guarantee it's already on there. Is the movie made? Probably not, but it's on there.
Yeah.
Right. What's up?
Yeah.
Fun bags.
That's it. That's the one. I love it.
Well, that's a staple of something. If you watch it and something catches you that you're talking about later, right? That's a good.
Exactly. I'm like, it's only like 10 minutes long. Everything. It's funny, and it's a little sexual, and then it gets kind of thriller. So it kind of checks off all the boxes. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
I just watched it before we got on here, and even just the audio you caught in the background of stuff that I was just rambling about. So funny. There was something about me being like, oh, I'm so glad we're in a shed and not in a truck stop next to the puddles of piss.
Yeah.
I mean, I used a lot of it, probably more than I intended to be honest, because some of it was so funny. Yeah, there were probably a few that didn't, maybe for certain reasons, maybe some didn't work out or cut off or something. But a lot of that dialogue that you were doing, I did kind of sort of extend those scenes and made it a little bit more, because just splicing them together from different cuts, because funny stuff each time.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. It worked great, I think, for sure.
All right, well, that's Clowning, and you can go watch that on YouTube at Faux Possums 1. So check that out. All right, guys, let's go to movies. Shall we?
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
Did you see Thanksgiving?
I did. Yes.
You did? Okay, so all three of us went and saw it. So I think we should just go ahead and talk about that one.
Okay. Thanksgiving. Sure.
Thanksgiving. Yes. I mean, I'm glad that I went and saw it in the theater. I did. I liked it. I liked it. Did you guys like it? Because I did.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, really well done. I mean, it doesn't bring anything new, but it brings a lot of great olds back to the table. You know, like a lot of good '80s vibes, slashers, and '90s with a little '90s through in there too. You know, it's a little screamish, but it's also a lot of '80s stuff. You know, you got the bodies jumping out, the dead bodies and stuff like old school time. I'm like, come on, man, that's awesome. I liked it. I thought it was a good killer. The motives were decent. Yeah, overall, I mean, I was happy with it. I didn't hate it for sure. You know, some of the characters were a little bit annoying, but aren't they supposed to be? You know, it's kind of the way it's supposed to be. So I thought the kills were good, pretty inventive, and especially you know, it was definitely a horror comedy because there were definitely moments where it was just very funny. You know, especially like after a kill. So I don't know. I thought it was good. I thought it was, and again, it's so crazy to me that we're here this far in, and nobody's really came up with a Thanksgiving horror movie. I mean, there's some, and there's some set in Thanksgiving, but this is like the first, and that's crazy. Why did it take so long? We have so many other holidays that's already got their staple horror, and I feel like this might be the one for Thanksgiving. Mike, what you got?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. When I first watched it, I liked it, but I had to sit a couple days. I really missed the exploitation aspects of the original faux trailer.
Of course, yeah.
They really missed an opportunity just to have that turkey stuffed, if you know what I mean. but then I went back, watched the original, and I'm like, okay, got my kicks there. But I was reading interviews, and they actually treated this movie like it was a modern day reboot.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
the original was a classic, and I was like, okay, y'all did good, but yeah, as I thought about it, loved it, and the opening sequence for Black Friday, because I work in the public and retail every day. I was triggered watching that. This is what I deal with every day, and oh my God, I just sat there glued to the seat and loved it. So it's definitely one I'm gonna buy and watch every year.
Trust me, I worked in retail during those Black Friday days back in the day when it was crazy like that too. So I know exactly what you're saying. It got wild. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, man. I did love that faux trailer. I think, and it would have been nice to see that, but I do get where he's going with it to make it contemporary. I mean, yeah, the trampoline scene did let me down a little bit, but it was still pretty good.
It didn't hit as hard as it should.
No, it didn't. But at least it was in there. I was gonna be really mad if there was no trampoline scene at all. But it was in there. It did, like I said. Yes, it should have been. It should have been what it should have been. It wasn't, but.
If we can't get a poon stick, at least we got a Achilles stick, you know? So, still grossed out, but not.
Yeah. And also I think this is a pretty good departure for Eli Roth, because I mean, compared to some of his other horror movies, this definitely doesn't feel like those at all. I mean, he's done some other things, and he's definitely one that likes to try different genres and stuff. But this is not a Hostel movie for sure. This is definitely way more fun than Hostel or Green Inferno and stuff like that. I mean, even though Green Inferno has comedy, I mean, this is definitely, I think, a little bit more mass appeal to it.
Yeah, it has that mainstream flavor more for the masses, but there's still enough for like the hardcore horror fans to really latch onto it.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So I think that I just read that they're gonna already like planning on a part two.
Yeah, it's been greenlit. So it's maybe going to be a franchise. Well, I mean, and that's the cool thing about it. He did create a little mask there, that's going to be, you're going to see him on Halloween probably. So,
yeah,
there you go. So, what do you got? You got Bridget. You going first? Mike, you going first? You got a list?
So, A House of a Thousand Corpses. I have a friend that's never seen it before, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh. this off your list. I love it. It's still one of my favorite movies. My dog's name is Baby Firefly, if that tells you anything. Michael, have you seen Sick for Toys?
I have not. I don't think I've heard of this.
I don't even know. I think I streamed it off of Tubi, but it's a different twist. Like, I get so sick of the Killer Santa. Oh my God, Killer Santas. There's so many of them. So it's a different little twist on it. Also, let's see what else. So I watched Mercy Christmas. Have you seen this one?
I don't think I've seen this one.
Okay,
No.
So it's basically about a guy who he thinks he meets his like dream girl, and she invites him over to a family Christmas dinner, and it turns out that he's in a house full of cannibals. Yeah, so it's
Our watch list for some reason.
you have it on your watch list?
I have it on my watch list, but I haven't realized it. So
Okay. All right, cool. I would recommend it. I think it's good. It's different. I think this one come out maybe 2017, I believe, and I think I streamed it on Tubi, I believe. So it's Mercy Christmas. I also watched Violent Night.
yeah.
I thought it was a horror movie, but I think turned out to be more of an action movie. But I thought it was pretty good. It was okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was one of those that I think come out last year after Christmas, and I refused to watch it. I was like, I'm not going to watch it. I'm done with it. Well, I kind of held on to that one. Another good one that I watched is Uncle Peckerhead.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Have you seen it? I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was so fucking funny. It was funny. Yeah. Have you seen that one, Michael?
I've never heard of this, but I love the title.
I know, Uncle Peckerhead. I was like, what is this called? So it turned out to be pretty good. I liked it. I also watched last night, actually, Wonderful Knife.
That's on my list.
Yes, it's good. It kind of reminds me of like one of the Scream movies. You know how a lot of them remind you back to Scream, but it was all right. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it was fine. I mean it's a fun movie. I mean it's literally a take on A Wonderful Life horror version. I mean the plots, the plot, the twists and stuff you can see coming a mile away. So that sort of stuff isn't really. If you're there for that, you're probably not going to be too enthralled with it. But I mean the kills were okay and everything. And I mean yeah, it's a slasher. Again, it's a Wonderful Life, but put a slasher in there, basically. Yeah, I thought it was pretty decent.
I've never seen A Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
And no, that's why I was like, is this like A Wonderful Life? And Tracy was making fun of me. He was like, you've never seen that? I was like, no, it's not really my type of movie. I've just never seen it. Right. I know it's a classic, but it's not my thing. So I've never seen it. But so I did a couple of rewatches. I did a rewatch of the movie The Cell.
The what now?
The Cell.
Oh, with Jennifer Lopez?
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
That's one of my favorites. That's one of my all-time favorites, and it's
great.
The actor Vincent, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Vincent.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't even pronounce his last name, but he plays the villain in this movie. He's one of those. I feel like he's very underrated. He's an amazing actor. I've seen him in so many things, but he doesn't get talked about a whole lot. But I wanted to give him some kudos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the dude from Adventures in Babysitting.
Is he in? Yeah. Oh, shit. He was Thor, wasn't he?
He was Thor.
Holy shit. I didn't even realize that.
Right?
Wow.
The visuals in that movie are well beyond their time. Great movie. Have you ever seen the sequel? Because it's a terrible, terrible movie.
They made us two?
Yeah, they did.
I didn't even know they had a part.
It's absolutely god awful terrible.
Yeah.
That got buried.
You know what the crazy thing is that it doesn't have great ratings. When I looked it up online, I'm like, how the hell does this movie not have great ratings? What the hell? Because it's one of my favorites. Always has been. I did another little rewatch of this fun little movie called Candy's Harem.
I watched half of that before my nap tonight.
You did? Oh my
Yes.
God, that is so funny. What are the odds of that?
That's funny.
I got my faux pas collection right in front of me.
Yeah, that's right. I love it though. So I bought the movie. I bought the movie before Mike and I even knew each other. We like on social media. I randomly just did a Google search for low budget indie horror films because it's kind of my thing. I love it. And that was one of the movies that popped up, so I went and bought it. It's been about 4 years ago, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny because I was still in Chicago, I think, whenever you bought it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, really good. So it's faux pas movie. Man, I don't even want to give anything away. We'll just say killer with killer toys.
Yep. Keep your anal beads in the drawer, please.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Well, it's played very straight. It's played like a horror drama, but to me, it's just a comedy because how silly is it? You know, it's just absolutely absurd. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, I think my last one I have, and this was on our pick, is 964 Pinocchio.
964 Pinocchio. Yep, this is our extreme horror of the week or of this episode. What the fuck?
No.
What the fuck, Bridget?
I know. I was like, oh my God, this was my pick.
Why you do this to me? Why you do this to me?
Have you seen this, Michael? So,
I'm looking. I have not. Every time y'all mention the movie of the week, I'm like doing something while I'm listening, and I forget. And I'm just looking at pictures on the internet right now. And okay,
964 Pinocchio. So it's supposedly about
a cyborg sex sale.
Yes.
Which, I mean, the sex stuff in the beginning, I'm like, okay, I can get into this. But then it just gets full. Like, what happened?
Gets
I just got to the weird.
And I'm going, I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, what the fuck am I watching? It's like strange.
It's like watching, it's like listening to somebody grunt for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes.
Was that
super annoying?
Now this, I feel like possibly, kind of like that Skinamarink, taken as a short film, it might work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's some images and stuff in here that are decent, and I'm not saying it's like badly shot or anything, but it's just like it's too long. There's too much of it to go, what?
Yeah, it's I had a really hard time sitting through the movie.
Well, because there's not really much dialogue.
Correct.
There's a lot of grunting. There's not really a lot of plot. Not really. I mean, abstractly, and there's a story. It says on IMDb, lobotomized cyborg sex slave is thrown out onto the street by his owners because of his inability to maintain an erection. He is befriended by a criminally insane, memory-wiped homeless girl. Meanwhile, the corporate entity who manufactured and sold him plots to kill him because of his malfunction. I mean, that is a story.
That's a story, but you know what? I would not even have known that's what it was about if you wouldn't have just okay.
I mean, and as far as extremities, extreme.
I know. It was on my extreme list, but I was like,
it's not really that extreme.
No.
You think? I mean, yeah, the girl pukes and eats it.
Yeah,
right?
I
guess there's that, but
I would not recommend this movie to anyone. I'm serious.
Now I think if you're tripping hard, this might be some sort of beneficial to you there. I don't know. That might be the only way that this might be sort of enjoyable. but I mean, it's different. Kudos for different and originality, because you know what, I've never seen anything like it, and hopefully never will again. But
it's one of those that I can say, I checked it off my list, and that's it. I'm done with it.
I'm gonna have to check this off my list and watch me be the only person in the world to love it.
You may.
You
I mean,
might.
it's not.
You might.
I look. I mean, it's 5.5 on IMDb, so people like it. I mean, it's not like hated.
That's usually my 10s, so here we go.
Well, I mean, it really. I mean, it could be. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe I really hadn't. I heard nothing about it. Bridget mentioned the name. I said, okay, we'll watch it. And I just put it on and watched it. I didn't do any, preparedness for it, so I wasn't sure what I was getting into. And like I said, it started out. I'm like, okay, all right, I can get into this, and I'm like, what is happening right now? It never let up with that, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't even know where I even heard about it at. Like, people will just randomly mention movies, or I'll read about something, or I'll just always have a list on my phone. I'll be like, oh, let me go put that on my list. And it was just one that's been on my list forever, and I had a hard time finding it to stream it. So,
I mean, look, there are some funny parts and stuff, like the part at the end with the big head and shit. There's some decent little part. Like I said, if you could like kind of take out those and comb everything and make it like a little short film, I think it'd probably be pretty good. But it's just like you got all this time of just grunting and
yeah, and they're just heads. Like, what is happening? I kept waiting for it to take off, and it just never really took off for me.
Well, isn't that the whole point? He can't maintain an erection.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. That was a good point.
He's just grunting. That's all he can do.
That's all it was.
Okay, I changed my mind. This movie's a masterpiece.
We've found the solution.
Okay, so that's it for my list. You wanna go with yours, Mike?
We're two mics. You going, Mike?
Oh, I got a Mike and a Michael. So
which one am I?
You're Mike.
Okay,
you're Mike. I don't think I've ever called you Mike. So
that's true. That's true.
I've been called three things on this podcast already, but that's what my normal life is like. So rolling with it.
Okay. I can go. All right. Okay. All right. Up first, It Lives Inside. You guys heard of this one?
Yes. And it's a newer movie, right?
Yeah, it's a newer movie. Indian American teenager struggling with her cultural identity has a falling out with her former best friend, and in the process, unwillingly releases a demonic entity that grows stronger by feeding on her loneliness. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty decent movie. It was a PG-13 movie, so that's a little hard. I wouldn't say that most of the stuff was entirely original or anything, but it was decent. I mean, for a PG-13 to work and keep me entertained, it's pretty hard to do anyway. I mean, because unless you're coming with like Insidious level PG-13 horror, it's really hard to maintain. So, but I think it did a pretty good job. It was pretty decent. It wasn't great, but I liked it enough to say, yeah, it's worth a watch. Up next was Dark Harvest. This is a new movie that came out pretty recently. In a small Midwestern town, a deadly annual ritual unfolds with a mythological nightmare. Sawtooth Jack rises from the cornfields and challenges the town's teenage boys into a bloody battle of survival. So this movie has a lot of potential. There are things in here that I really like. I don't think it's maybe fleshed out enough to really love it. It has a little bit of almost Pumpkinhead vibes to it, to me. It's certain movies that we've seen maybe from the 80s where it's like about a ritual in this town doing things to maintain preservation stuff. Decent, and the twist at the end was all right. I liked it enough. Again, I didn't love it though, and it's by the guy who did 30 Days a Night, which I like that movie, and I thought it's nothing like that movie. So, but yeah, I don't know. Watch the trailer, and if it seems to catch your eye, maybe give it a watch. But I wouldn't say it's great. It's decent. Up next is a rewatch of The Ward. Have you guys seen The Ward?
Is that the John Carpenter movie?
That's the John Carpenter movie.
I saw it a long time ago, but I remember I didn't like it enough, and I ended up selling it to McKay's.
See, that was me. I watched it once a long time ago, and I didn't. And I remember thinking this wasn't really that good, and so I'm like, I just don't remember anything about it. So I went back to rewatch it, and it's still not great. I mean, I liked it probably a little better this time than I did the first time, but it's still one of Carpenter's probably lower counts on the film scale.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's got Amber Heard as the lead.
Ooh.
Up next was a rewatch of The Last Horror Movie. Have you seen that?
I just found an old Fangoria magazine in a box that had that on the back cover.
Well, I'd seen it before, and actually, I thought I was watching the last horror film. But it's the last horror movie, and I put it on. I'm like, wait, I've already seen this before. But it's about a guy. It's kind of like what's that movie? Behind the Mask, but the Rise of Leslie Vernon. You know, like that movie.
Yeah, I love that.
Which that movie's awesome. So this kind of tries to be like that because it's about like a guy documenting a serial killer. It's nowhere near as good as Behind the Mask, but it's a decent little movie, you know. But it's about that same premise though. A serial killer, he's got this guy, and he's pretty much just making a documentary about him. That's what he's doing. So it's basically the same thing. Up next was a little film called Shredder from 2001. Have you heard of this one? This one is a slasher up in the ski resorts.
Heard of it, haven't seen it. Ooh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's not great. It's watchable if you just want to throw something on, a slasher you've never seen, but nothing new to write home about here. Of course, we talked about Thanksgiving. Did a rewatch of The Thing 2011, the remake of the remake. You guys saw this? What do you think about it?
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, you haven't?
Oh, you haven't seen The Thing, the Carpenter one?
No. I know.
Well, no, not the original.
Like right now.
No, the original is called The Thing from Outer Space. That's not the one you want to see. You want to see the one from the 80s called The Thing, John Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this is also called The Thing, and I hate when they do that. You know, I'm sorry, but they should not call the remakes and stuff. This is not a remake. This is a prequel. So I don't know why they call it The Thing. They should call it something else. But anyway, you've seen this one, right, Brigitte?
Well, of course, is the thing, but I had no idea.
No. This is the one that came after that, 2011.
Oh,
You haven't seen it?
Is this a sequel from the sequel, or is it like a remake?
No. It's a prequel to John Carpenter's movie. Yes, I absolutely hate it. Scream, I'm sorry. Halloween is 2018 is Halloween 2018. It's not Halloween. Scream 5 is Scream 5, not Scream. But yes, this is a prequel. So if you remember the beginning of John Carpenter's movie, not you, Mike, because you haven't seen it, but it starts out with the dogs. The guy chasing the dogs.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're like, hey, wonder what happened to make that guy chase that dog. So this is just a prequel to that movie. I've seen it a couple times. I just rewatched it. I mean, I don't love it. It's not anywhere near as good as John Carpenter's movie. I don't hate it either, though, as much as I probably thought I would. I mean, I do think they rely way too heavily on CGI on this one. I mean, some of the things are pretty decent, but it's like you miss the point of Carpenter's version. It's like the practical effects is what made it so great. So they did a lot of CGI and stuff here.
That's where you said that the CGI, when you're like, oh, it's too much CGI.
I mean, this one's kind of split half and half. I mean, there are practical effects in it, but it's just kind of about half and half. I mean, the only thing I like about it really is it does connect to John Carpenter's, and I think that's pretty cool that it connects to it. So, yeah, worth a watch once, but yeah, you might not love it. Up next, I finally saw The Nun Part 2, when they came out pretty recently. You haven't seen The Nun Part 1. Is that what you said, Brigitte?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really big on the Nun movies, to be honest. I saw the first one in theaters. I wasn't terribly impressed with it. I think this one's a little better than the first one, but I think, and I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like, I mean, this one has some cool jump scares, to be honest. The magazine jump scare, even though I saw it in the trailer, still got me. So it's pretty good as far as those jump scares and stuff. But I don't know. I think that The Nun is more terrifying in the Conjuring movie than it is in their own movie. But I mean, again, I think it's a little bit better than the first. Now, did you see this one, Mike?
I've never seen The Nun. I've seen 1 and 2 of The Conjuring, 1
Okay.
and 3 of Annabelle, and that's all I've seen of the series.
Okay. Well, I think it was 2 where the nun was introduced. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and that worked. It worked in that story, but it's a little bit kind of long in the tooth when they make their own movies with it. But
Yeah.
Up next was Meg 2: The Trench. Do you guys like these shark movies? It's action shark. It's really more of an action movie than a horror movie, I'd say. But do you like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, my parents are obsessed with shark movies, and that's like our family night thing.
Oh yeah.
So we saw the first Meg at the drive-in, and then we passed on the Meg 2, and I finally caught it on HBO recently, and I fell asleep within 10 minutes. And I feel like I got the whole gist of the movie.
Yeah, well, I probably did. Yeah, I mean, they're okay. If you're like action, if you want an action movie that's somewhat considered a horror movie, I guess, because I don't know. What about you, Bridget? You saw these?
I haven't seen any of the Meg movies. No.
Yeah, it might not be your thing. Again, it's just more action than horror, really. Did a remake of Saw X. That one came out digitally because I saw it in theaters. I do like the new Saw. Did a remake of The Dead Zone. You guys seen this, right? The Dead Zone.
Is that the Christopher Walken?
Yep, Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
I've not seen that, but I do like my Stephen King.
You haven't seen The Dead Zone? Oh,
I know.
Oh my gosh, you got to watch that, man. You know what I saw before I saw the movie was the skit on Saturday Night Live.
Really?
No shit.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what I'm talking about?
No, this is why I love talking to you guys, because my watch list grows exponentially within
It's because I'm old as dirt and I can tell you things that came out a long time ago.
Educate the youngsters on what we need to know.
Well, listen. Back in my day, what I would like to consider the prime of Saturday Night Live, Christopher Walken was on there quite a few times, and he did some great skits. I mean, I know you had to have heard more cowbell. We're gonna have to have more cowbell. That there was another one like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It was great, But one of the funniest ones he did on there was he played his character from The Dead Zone. But so the whole premise is he's got this premonition where if he touches people, like he kind of sees the future after this accident, right? So in the skit on Saturday Night Live, he'll touch people. He'll go, in the afternoon, you will have a coffee. Just like stupid asinine shit, hilarious. Watch the movie, watch the skit, man. Those are good. The movie's pretty good though. Cronenberg directed it. It's pretty good. Up next was an oldie, Taste the Blood of Dracula from 1970. This is a Hammer horror movie. If you guys like the old Hammer horror stuff with Christopher Lee.
I've never seen Hammer. I do have to give a shout out. The book I Was a Teenage Monster Hunter by Sam Irvin, who directed Elvira's Haunted Hills.
Yeah.
He actually tracked down a bunch of the Hammer people in his teens and interviewed them. And this book is a whole compendium of his interviews and the stories, so I highly recommend reading it.
Oh, nice. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the 60s, early 70s, but mostly 60s, the Hammer films were like kind of the staple of horror there for a little while.
Yeah, they took over Universal.
Yeah, pretty much they did. Up next was a rewatch of Day of the Dead from '85. That's the one that George was in and Farmer was in. People we know as extras and stuff. Day of the Dead. You guys seen this, right?
Oh,
yes. Yeah. And
did
shout
you
out
recognize?
to George. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to George Dimmitt. Yeah. Did you recognize George or Donald on there?
No. I wasn't specifically looking for him, but I don't know. Because I know Farmer said he's way in the back, so I didn't even spend time looking for him. But
yeah.
I do like this movie. Of the trilogy, it's not my favorite. To be honest, it's weird because it's like I think there are parts in this one that's probably the best of the trilogy, but it's probably still overall my least favorite. because I love Dawn, and you got to give props to Night. So, but I still really like it. I think it's a really good movie. But but gore wise, and there's definitely some funny parts in here that I absolutely love. Absolutely love.
Yeah.
Up next was I did a watch of the new season of Shining Vale. Have you guys seen this at all?
Our Star subscription canceled halfway through the second season.
Oh no! But so you watched the first one then, Mike?
Yes. Oh my God, Courtney Cox in this is so funny.
Yes.
And the show is just it's like eating beef jerky. Like the bag's gone and you're like, oh God, what?
Yeah.
Something bad.
Well, I mean, the second season was pretty good. I didn't like it as good as the first because the first one paid so many homages to so many different horror movies that it was just like, oh my God, I know where that's from. And, it's just like so cool. It didn't do too much of that. There were a few, but it wasn't as much in this one. But it was still a good season. Yeah, I like it. I enjoy that stuff. Up next was a little film called Shaky Shivers. You guys heard of this one?
No.
I think this one's on Screambox. Two young women find themselves in an abandoned camp in the woods with a book of magical spells surrounded by classical monsters and this comedic send-up of 1980s horror films. I guess maybe, but it's mostly about a girl who they kind of work at this shop and they're kind of rude to this customer a little bit, and she she bites her sort of, and she turns into a werewolf. But there are like zombies and stuff in there too. It's more of a comedy than horror, I'd say. There are some, it's mostly there's not really a lot of horror to be honest, but it's mostly comedy. But decent, worth a watch, I guess. Screambox. Up next, also on Screambox, Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Oh.
Get a wizard robe.
This is a geek nerd's dream. Okay, that's all you can really say about it.
This poster is great.
Fledgling occultist Onyx and his group of worshippers attend a once-in-a-lifetime ritual at their idol's mansion. So I liked it pretty good. So it's got Jeffrey Combs in it in a role. I was like, who is that?
He's still around?
Yeah, and I didn't even know it was him. And I wasn't for sure. And I was like, it sounds just like Jeffrey Combs. And I'm like, because it doesn't look anything like him. And Barbara Crampton's in here too. So we got a little bit of a Reanimator reunion. So I liked it. Okay. I'm not sure if I can recommend it to anybody because the lead character Onyx is super obnoxious. So I don't know if you would like it or not because he could grate on your nerves because everything that he does, every time that he talks like this. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, wow. Is that a sweater you're wearing? Wow. And that might grate on your nerves. Because it's way over the top. So, anyway, watch the trailer and see if you like it. I liked it. Okay, it was all right for me. Up next was Night of the Mist.
Oh, say it one more time because I'm gonna add it to the list. Onyx.
It's Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Up next was Night of the Missing. This is I think this is also on Screambox. This is a sheriff in a small town is a serial killer. A mysterious woman visits her and starts a conversation about the crimes she committed. So it's just more of an anthology movie. So some hit or miss ones in there. Pretty decent though, overall. So it's pretty low budget indie stuff.
Okay.
Of course, we talked about Pinocchio and we talked about It's a Wonderful Life or It's a Wonderful Knife, and that's all I got.
Awesome.
What you got, Michael?
All right. So Black Friday, I was like, I'm totally broke, but I need to buy one thing, and it was going to be a 4K player so I can finally watch the uncut version of Infinity Pool.
Oh, nice.
And
now that there's not much difference, right? There's just like a couple scenes or maybe one.
The only difference there is a close-up shot of a fake wanking scene. And then the orgy scene has a lot more explicitness. It is more like, it's more pleasurably viewed. Like, it's prettier to watch this time, and it makes more sense.
Yeah.
And there's a weird phallic object shooting out of a cavity. But and the stabbing scenes are more brutal, but like, after watching it a second time, I have this weird love for this movie, and I can't figure it out totally.
Yeah. I really liked it. Now, Bridget, you weren't a big fan of it, were you?
When you said, I like Scar's penis, so please be his penis. No, that's not what you said, though. That's the only reason I like the movie, because I love him.
They used to dummy dick.
Maybe I should do a rewatch of it. I probably watch of it. So what you have is the the
4K cut. So it's essentially the NC-17 version. We can have a movie night some night, and we'll make dinner and do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, did that. This one's really weird. It's not horror, but I'm gonna say it's horror adjacent because of how extreme it is.
Okay.
So before RuPaul did RuPaul's Drag Race, he did a movie called Star Booty.
Booty. Okay.
And it is very hard to find. It's been buried. You can only find it on like very expensive eBay copies. But it's about RuPaul playing supermodel of the world turned top secret agent who is going to fight the head of a cosmetics line who is kidnapping prostitutes and cutting off certain appendages to sell to rich people, and she's trying to save her adopted niece. And I can't give any more because that'll spoil everything, but this movie is like a wild watch and highly recommended if you need a fucked up viewing night.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Sounds crazy.
Yeah. That added to my list.
Right? And, like, I have been showing everybody this movie. I'm like, we need to watch this now. It's fun. I'm letting my suburban housewife come out of. I've been watching Frogging on Lifetime.
Frogging?
Yes, so Frogging with the PH. So it's essentially where these people realize that there's someone living in their house without them knowing.
Okay.
And these people come out and like use their stuff and whatever. And I'm watching this, and it's these horror stories, and one happened up the road from me, one happened in Goodlettsville, and then I pulled out this memory of like, oh God, this happened when I worked at an adult novelty store downtown where we found a man living in our crawl space and was leaving us gifts on our cars and chased me with a knife. So the show is like,
what? Really?
Yeah.
That's a movie right there. What the hell?
Like, what was he leaving on there? Or she? What was he leaving on your car?
He would leave little trinkets on our cars, just whatever he found. He would come in the store, buy libido drinks, and say, hey, I'm going to have a good night tonight. And we're like, whatever. And then we opened the side panel on the side of the building thinking it was like electric stuff hiding behind it. And we opened it up, and turns out there was a mattress in there with his bike and like a giant jar of spaghetti sauce, half-drunk bottle of whiskey. And he'd been living in the building for months.
Crazy.
Wow.
So watching this show, and then I was like, oh God, that did happen to me. This happens everywhere.
I know. It's so
That's
creepy
crazy.
too. I feel like that was the title of it, or maybe not, but that's what it was about. It was about frogging, about these kids that it was like a thing. It was like a fun. It was a game for them, and they just. I think how they got in is when the people were leaving to go to work, and they'd open their garage, they'd kind of roll in the garage and go camp out in the act, whatever. I mean, I was like, damn, that shit's actually kind of creepy. There could be somebody like living in basement, and that's a creepy thought, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear. So that's on Hulu if you really need to be creeped out late at night.
Okay.
And aside from that, I just finished binging American Crime Story, so the spinoff of American Horror Story.
What season? All of them?
I did Impeachment.
Okay, that's a good one.
So again, not super scary, but enough
No.
anxiety with all the Lewinsky stuff. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I like that one. I thought that one was good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so you recommend it then?
Highly recommend it. Sarah Paulson is like a goddess when it comes to acting.
Okay.
And she tears up the screen, and Beanie Feldstein, like, your heart just cries for her. So it's highly recommended.
Okay, cool.
And that's about what I've got recently. It's just been crazy this month.
All right.
Yeah, with all the holidays and everything. But I mean, this is exciting. Well, I love talking to you because now I've got Mike's list and Michael. I got Mike and Michael's list.
Awesome.
Things to look forward to.
Through the Christmas season now.
That's right. That's
right. All right. Well, you want to play a little game called Quotes?
Yes, let's do quotes. You want to do quotes with me, Michael? You're going to kick my ass.
I want to do quotes, and you're probably going to kick my ass.
Probably not. Like, Mike will catch me slipping sometimes. Like, I'm like, damn, Mike, these are hard. Hardcore.
Hardcore.
All right, let's do it.
You ready for number one? We don't need any introductions here.
Yeah.
Here we go. Number one. Listen, there's a bunch of people from the cemetery who are stark raving mad, and they'll kill you and eat you if they catch you. It's like a disease. It's like rabies, only faster, a lot faster.
I'm pretty sure I just saw this.
The Night of the Living Dead?
It's
No,
one of the.
It's not Night of the Living Dead.
It's one.
Is it Dawn of the Dead? Is it Day of the Dead?
It's none of those three.
It's a newer one, isn't it? It's a newer zombie movie.
It's none of those three, but I would say you're in the right ballpark. Listen, there's a bunch of people from the cemetery who are stark raving mad, and they'll kill you and eat you if they catch you.
Is
Like
it
a Z.
Living Dead?
What'd you say?
Return of the Living Dead?
It's Return of the Living Dead.
I told you, I was like, I just
That's
saw this. Because that was on my list at Halloween. I was like, I just saw this. What movie is it?
Yeah.
It was good.
I finally binged all 5 of them in one night.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun night.
The Return? I love 3.
3? The best of the series.
Love it. Love it. All right, this one's going to be easy. Be sharp. Be ready. Be alert. Here we go. I can see your dirty pillows.
Carrie. Bridget, you're right. I'm smoking you.
I know you are. You are.
Kidding.
That was good. Yeah. I thought that would be an easy get. All right. Number
For my mom.
Number 3. Bitch, don't you think I'm making a mental note of all your fucking bullshit?
I don't know. It sounds like something I would say.
Right? That's me on a bad Tuesday night.
Say one more, Mike, and give it like a decade, maybe.
Bitch, don't you think? Sorry. I kind of messed up for something. Here we go. Bitch, if you don't think I'm making a mental list of all your fucking bullshit.
I keep waiting for you to say something else.
That's about all I can say.
Okay, give us some time.
It's 2000s.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, because that sounds almost like her.
No, it's not that. It's like, can't you see I'm all jacked up here or something?
Is it Jennifer's Body?
Mm-mm. No. Let's see. 2007.
Okay.
2007. Okay.
It's a remake.
thinking back.
We got a guy in the cast. Bitch, if you don't think I'm making a middle of the list of all your fucking bullshit.
Can I call a lifeline that is
Is
Google?
it? Is it? I
Oh,
think this is. I don't know. You said 2007, and it's a remake. It's not like Rob Zombies.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
Holy Halloween.
Shit, I cannot like.
Rob Zombies.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get that like right away. Like
I'm actually surprised you didn't get it right away.
I'm really surprised I didn't.
You like that movie?
Yes, I'm a little under the weather today, so I can't believe I didn't get that right away. I'm like, oh my god, it's so stupid. Okay.
All right, number 4. You ready?
Yeah.
He thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost.
He thrust his. Say it one more time. He thrusts his
fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost.
So it's a comedy.
Not really.
His fist against the post. Okay. I feel like. Is it like saying Pennywise?
It's it.
Yeah. He kind of talks like that. He kind of talks like that a little bit. I was like, I've heard.
No, it's not him. It's the Walton John Boy character. You know, where he had a stutter problem, so he kept. Character.
Yeah. Oh. Say that one more time. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know what his character's name is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Again, that's another one.
We all know
that. I get right away. Damn. Okay. I'm slipping tonight.
Number 5. We must get rid of that bitch of an American girl. Vanish. She must vanish. Make her disappear. Understand? Vanish. She must vanish. She must die. 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 Helena, give me power. Or Helena, give me power, rather.
I've never heard of this, but I like the sound of it.
We're so stupid. I just literally like turned my head and I got this really cool clock. It's Suspiria. We gotta get rid, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Suspiria.
I just turned my head and I seen like I have a clock with a girl hanging from the rope, and I was like, it's a Suspiria. I love that movie. Okay.
I just talked about this 2 nights ago.
Dude, I told you it's harder than what you think. Like, these are all like my favorites, and I'm like, holy shit! It took me like a minute.
Brigitte, you're coming up on me.
Oh shit!
And by coming up, I mean you have already surpassed. So
there we go. That's quotes, guys.
All right, cool.
Brigitte wins.
Yeah. Well, you right. Like, I had to really think about. I had to really think about it. I cannot believe the Halloween quote. It took me that long to figure that out. Wow. Cool. Awesome.
Right. Yeah. That's okay. You know, sometimes like certain things in the movies doesn't really register, you know, when you're on the spot with it.
A lot of your quotes too, I know it's like they're not like the famous quotes of the movie. It's almost like you kind of pull out, and so it makes it a little bit harder. But I love it though because it's challenging for sure.
Well, I mean, we ran through some of the ones that are super popular, but yeah, you don't want to like totally give it away.
You know, we'll be playing this game one night. And I'll be waiting for you to are you ready for movie quotes? Fun bags.
Just throw that one in there.
Yeah, that is so funny.
There you go. Yeah.
Cool. So we need to pick an extreme horror movie.
Okay.
Do you have any in mind?
I mean, I've got a few on the list that we could check out and see if they're any good.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find one that we can actually maybe stream. What about Tumbling Doll of Flesh?
Tumbling Doll of Flesh. Okay. All right, I'm down.
I don't know anything about it. I have no clue. Could be Pinocchio Part 2. I don't know.
Okay.
So it's just one of those that we can check it out. It is. I did see it on a list, so we'll see if it's worthy of being on the list of hardcore horror. And we'll go from there. See what it
Tumbling
is about.
Doll of Flesh. Have you, just curious, Michael, have you seen this one movie?
I'm looking it up and I'm having trouble finding it. Oh, I found the Wikipedia page. Okay. Oh. Oh. I see splatter and I see pornographic in the same sentence.
Oh,
All right then.
Definitely extreme.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll just check it out and see what's all about. All right. So, the end of the year is almost upon us. So we've got about one more podcast in us before we ring in the new year.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so next podcast, we will come up with our list. So you're going to have to make some lists.
Yes, I will do that. Yes.
Best horror movies of the year, worst horror movies of the year. Anything else you want to appropriate into a list, just make it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that sort of stuff next time. Okay?
Good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all I got. You got anything else, Michael?
That's all I got. I just want to thank you guys for having me on again. And
we love it.
Yes.
Pleasurable time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So can people see any of your stuff? I know maybe not your new stuff, but where can they find any of your work at, Michael?
Probably Instagram is the easiest way. So it's my.cool.tan is my handle. So like my cool tan. I thought I was being smart, but in my bio, I do have all my recent shorts and then a link to Klownin. So that's where all that can be found. If anyone needs a scratch and sniff card, just hit me up and I'll mail that.
Awesome.
And
awesome. Eggs. Oh, Mr. Eggman.
Eggman. I can't look at eggs anymore. I cleaned out the ostrich egg recently, and it filled an entire giant size mixing bowl, and I just looked at all that yolk, and I was like, "This is ugly. Why do I have a vision?" But it's all for art, so
yeah,
right.
Awesome, cool. Well, yeah, we really appreciate you coming on. It's always fun talking to you and hearing your take on movies and adding to the list. It's awesome. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys have a great night, and I'll listen in next time.
All right, sweet.
All right. Until then, stay hardcore.
Stay hardcore.
All right. Later.
Okay. Later. Bye.
Wow. That's hardcore.
Nothing harder.
Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte is a part of the Tennessee Horror Podcast Network.